We talked about something a little more serious. We talked about vibe coding.
Yeah.
And the way people are
You
making...
four talked about vibe coding.
You know, 3 of us. Ludwig was gone.
3 non-coders talked about vibe coding.
Well, we were...
Can you give me like a 1-sentence summary? I would love to hear what kind of breakthroughs you guys came to.
I don't know if...
What did Slime have to say about vibe coding? What did he...
I think it was actually a huge chunk of the episode. It would be unfair of me to characterize.
No, you have to go to the Patreon.
I want to
see
ask
it.
you what you guys think of it, because I had not heard of this until I think Nick brought it up. This idea of vibe coding, where you use ChatGPT to spit out code that you don't know how to write, and you build a game like that, and then you just iterate on the game by using ChatGPT prompts. And apparently these games are starting, you could turn around a project in a relatively short period of time. And then people are launching these games on like mobile and then filling them with advertisements and then making money. And it's it's a trend. And I thought this was really interesting because my 2 reactions were, on one hand, I was like, oh man, this really like cheapens this art form and makes it, this feels a little like soulless. And then on the other hand, I was like, well, if you can provide a tool to people to create their ideas without being inhibited by being unable to learn how to code for whatever reason, what is good and bad about this? And that's basically what we talked about for like 20, 30 minutes.
That phone call just bumped us down to number 10.
Tucker's carving his way back in, brother.
It was Tucker, if you can believe it. Yeah. He knew what he was doing.
So I always wanted because I feel like it's in the vein of this conversation of like something like AI just pumping out video games automatically. This is sort of similar to that. It's like still a prompt, still a human idea, but somebody sitting at a computer and making games in a very different way and potentially sacrificing some of what they have in their mind because they aren't able to meticulously edit and understand the code.
Yeah. Here, can I get the Telestrator?
Yeah.
I want to draw. You can kick it off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, my answer to this is I'm not a coder, so I haven't tried vibe coding. I don't know the difference. But my understanding is that the games that have been made so far are pretty slop. One of them I know it was like an MMO flying game. This guy, Pierre, made it? I don't know. But he has a big audience.
Dude.
He made it. It made a lot of money. It was making like $100K a week or something. It was like printing money, and it was like I tried it. It was really sloppy, but it was like a kid could play. You're playing it, so there could be potential there. Right now, as a gamer, I see such a drastic gulf between. I mean, it just has.
Yes.
There's so many issues and edge cases that come up that you don't get fixed that I think it's kind of crap. But
during the segment where we were recording, Zipper tried to make a game using ChatGPT, and he successfully made a tiny game where you control a profile picture of me that eats hamburgers, which were yellow dots, and every time you fed it a hamburger, the score went up by 1 million. And so within the span of us having the conversation, that was crafted.
Yes.
That's what they made Red Dead Redemption too. It's the same.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so vibe coding, this was coined recently by Andre Carpathy, actually, who's the leader of Tesla. And so basically it's what you're saying. It's just letting AI do all the coding. And that's been the slow transition that everybody's going through over the past 2 years since ChatGPT came out. So for people who are not programmers, every programmer now, asterisk, almost every single programmer is using AI extensively. And it's so unbelievably helpful for so many tasks. And that doesn't mean that the entire project is done by AI. It means that you are figuring out the outline, you're deciding what things to do, and then you say, okay, now that this is defined, AI, can you do this for me? So you are building the structure, you're thinking through what it is, but then you're directing the AI like you would a junior engineer at a software company, and you're saying, okay, now go through the logistics of making this work. And you still then, like a senior engineer, would review what they're doing. And because there's going to be problems, there's going to be lots of issues, you have to review things. It doesn't always work. But that's the idea, and it saves a lot of time. I do this all the time. With vibe coding, it's getting to a point now where you do not need to ever code or review code. So that ratio of like, oh, it's helping you as an assistant with all these things is becoming like 100% as opposed to, it's 50% of the code or something like that. So with regards to games specifically, I guess to summarize that, AI is getting good enough to do this now, and it's improving rapidly. Every few weeks, there's a new model which is even better at programming. So this is very much a thing that is happening. So I think that what Microsoft is largely arguing for is the idea that an AI itself is basically going to generate the game, right, that you are playing. So it's AIs directing AIs to make things, and a whole bunch of just AI is basically doing it all. And that's the thinking is, you know, they can go release this into the wild and then people are just playing these infinitely generated AI games. Vibe coding is more of a human who is then directing AIs, right? So with vibe coding, like you as a human in the case that you were talking about are still directing what the app or game is, right?
Yeah.
With Zipper's case, like he's deciding the design of the game. The AI isn't doing that.
He wants me to eat the cheeseburger.
He wants you to eat the cheeseburger. And so this is where I think a lot of AI development is going to go and why I'm generally optimistic about it. I think there's a lot of examples. Like I have people in my life, Point Crow and Failboat. I love them. Horrible at programming, just truly awful. And both of them have started to really add cool, sophisticated stuff into their streams that use programming because AI helps them do it. And so I think this case of like humans directing AIs to do their ideas, they are the creative director and the AI does the grunt work. That's where it's largely going to work. And if a guy comes up with a cool, weird mobile game that people are like, oh, this is dumb, this shouldn't be making that much. Well, that's what we thought about Flappy Bird, right?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean,
you know,
you don't get to decide what's worth it or not. People just decide it by playing it. Like, whatever's fun, they'll play.
And this is obviously again a huge conversation, and we'll dive into it in the future. But
I think
the core distinction being like fully AI generated stuff where no human is involved versus you are a creative director and AI is a tool just like Photoshop or like OBS or like playing a video game, right? And you are directing what is happening.
Yeah.